Alright guys, well, I really intended to spend the entire day out here, and I had intended to get on my computer and take you through the entire system, but I run into a bit of a hiccup, so I am going to have to abort that plan, and I am going to have to head back in the office, and we're going to have to continue our conversation a little later. Hiccup basically is that I seem to have blown the electrical system in the car. I don't know if I plugged in too many things, and I seem to have blown a fuse or something, so I'm gonna have to go get that sorted out. However, as I journey back down towards the more populated area of the island, I am going to continue talking to you for a bit, and it seems as if talking is, well, I want you to understand that talking is sort of the foundation of what we do, right? The more we talk, the better we become at this, because this entire operation, this entire system is about talking. You can either speak out aloud on video, you can write in your blog, you can basically say what's on your mind, say what it is that you want to say. Don't think about whether or not people think it'll be interesting, because whether or not people think you're interesting, what you think is usually not what actually is. So for you may be wondering whether or not people find you interesting. Oh great, there's oil in the road. Yeah, you may be wondering whether or not people find you interesting, and other people will be hanging on every word you say. Yes, there will be persons who are not interested, but they're not interested because you're not saying something interesting. They're not interested because they haven't trained themselves to be aware of other people, and to, in other words, they're not being interested in what you're saying is not your shortcoming. They're not being interested in what you're saying is their shortcoming. Some persons, for example, just don't have the patience to do anything for longer than a minute. So because my videos, for example, go on for about 12 minutes at a time to 15 minutes at a time, you're gonna find that a lot of persons won't get past the first 60 seconds of what I have to say, simply because they're more important than listening to the content of what is being said. They will be more distracted by the shaking of the video, or they might think that I'm not handsome enough to be on video, so they're not going to stay there and stare at my face for 12 minutes. Or they may just be like, oh shoot, my attention span is 1 minute, and on to something else. You're taking up too much of my time. So once again, I'll point out, those persons, we're not talking to them. We're not doing this for them. This is not about them. They are not our community. Our community are the persons who are interested, the persons who want to learn something new, or to share ideas, or the persons who want to hear me speak so that they can say to themselves, I wonder how I would sound saying these things, or what are my opinions on these things. Maybe you disagree with me, and you now will be able to create a video and say, well, you know what, I was listening to my to John Campbell's video, and I didn't really agree with what he was saying, because he was saying XYZ, and this is my opinion. And I look forward to a video like that, because it would be really cool that something that I said has started a conversation. Because one of the things I have to give my father credit for is the fact that he raised us in an atmosphere of debate. In our house, we didn't quarrel, argue, and fight. We discussed, and our discussions rarely went out of the realms of debate. In other words, what was your point? What was your point? Well, you need to now defend your point, or you need to now rebut, and by the time we were done, problem was either solved or we agreed to disagree. And it was either that or the other. So within my family, there's very little fighting and quarrels and arguments and that kind of thing. We have all the shortcomings, but that's one of the things that we have to give the Campbell family credit for. We're very good at discussing things, and we're very good at keeping our anger and that kind of thing in check. In fact, it wasn't until I was much older and I met a young lady who was playing quite a significant role in my life, and you better believe that it wasn't until much later in my life that I actually had an actual all-out voices raised, shouting, screaming kind of argument. And funny enough, while I was having that argument, I was thinking to myself, this is interesting. This is a new feeling, or this is a new experience, you know. So I didn't really check myself in this argument because I kind of wanted to see where it would go. So we went all out, and it was like, wow. I mean, there was no hitting or fighting, but oh my God, I mean, really, you know. And during this time, I was paying less attention to what she was saying and more attention to what I was feeling, because different type of emotions, anger and so on, it's like I was outside of my body watching myself escalate. And I was like, oh, okay, great. I mean, wow, look at this. I can be this person. But I'm not even saying that it was good to have an argument. I'm just simply saying that it was new. So that said, you'll notice that I veer away from the point a lot. I'm not very good at staying on point. But that said, the whole concept of debate is attractive to me, and it should be attractive to you. It is actually the solution to the problem of arguments. If you're in a relationship, for example, and you find that you're always escalating into an argument, it is because, well, you've been trained that way, and you have not trained yourselves to debate and discuss. In other words, I respect your opinion. I don't have to agree with it, but I will respect it because it's your opinion. And because I respect your opinion, it's not I don't have to have this passion inside of me to prove you wrong or to tell you that you're talking nonsense, you know. I simply want to be able to say to you that, hey, this is what I feel, and I want to feel as if you care about what I feel. So I think a lot of arguments escalate simply because we tend to want to change somebody, or I want to change your mind. You need to change your mind, or else, you know. And then it escalates, and then all of a sudden, no, you're being unreasonable. No, you're being unreasonable. No, you're being unreasonable. You know, not really. We're both two different persons with two different backgrounds, and we are grown up learning to see things two different ways. Therefore, you have to determine whether or not an argument is that important, or a point is that important that it has to escalate into an argument. So that said, please disagree with my videos. Post your own video. Send me a link to the video where you disagreed with my video, because I just am excited about the idea of this type of discussion in this part of the world. You know, blogging is not anything new. A lot of us get online, we go on YouTube, we go on Facebook, and we basically watch other people blog. And the truth is that those persons have just simply discovered that this is an avenue for talking, this is an avenue for sharing, and you actually you know, you're listening to them and you're forming opinions, and sometimes you're like, choops, I don't even want to hear what he has to say because that don't make no sense to me. Well, guess what? That is exactly what he wanted. He wanted it to either make sense to you or not make sense to you. And then what happens is that you would now create a video to reply or to respond to what he said, and you know, therefore now we have this whole video discussion going on, and guess what we're doing? We're blogging. Now, on the subject of blogging, well, a lot of persons think blogging is a very complicated process. It's not. You blog every day. You blog every single day that you're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or any of the other social medias or picture sharing. You blog in many different ways, right? For example, if you notice, the Island Mastermind blog is basically picture intensive. And the reason it's picture intensive is very easy. Most persons don't have the time during the day to spend 9 minutes listening to me talk. In fact, hopefully, you know, so I'm not going to talk about a subject for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I'm simply going to put a picture up, and I'm going to put a few words up, and hopefully those few words will say so much to you, so significant in those few scripted words, that it would affect you in some way, or it would not. But the point is, either way, it captures your attention significantly for a few minutes. Now, that is the simplest form of blogging, and I strongly believe, this is my personal opinion, it is the most powerful. The most powerful form of blogging simply states a point and allows the other person's mind to run with it. I don't need to talk and talk and talk until I've convinced you of what it is I believe. Oh, come on. Oh, right. I don't need to talk and talk and talk until I've convinced you of what I believe. I simply need to share what I believe and allow your mind to discern on its own, your mind to think on its own and come up with its own response to what it has heard or what it has read or what it is understanding, you know? So, you know, the whole blogging concept is so attractive. There's a reason why there are approximately 512, no, sorry, there were more than that, but in 2010 there were 512,000 blogs. 512,000 blogs at the last count of blogs. Presently we're probably pushing over 1 billion blogs, and I don't even hesitate to call that figure. It's probably more. But guess what? This is because an international discussion has begun. Yes, you grew up talking to persons in your home. You talk to your brother, your sister, your family, the person down the street, your friends at school, and the people in the office. And then you would look at another guy who also talks to a lot of people, and you say, well, he's popular. Or you think to yourself, well, I'm popular. Well, actually, guess what? You're not popular. You can't be popular in your own community, because in your own community, you ain't got that many people. Blog. When 500 million people in the world are listening to what you have to say, you're popular. Celebrities are popular. Every word that comes out of their mouth, every tweet, everybody, hundreds and thousands of people are hanging on. They're popular. You want to be popular? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be popular. There must be a reason why human nature wants to be popular. It is nothing to be ashamed of, right? Because what I have discovered is there's certain things in human nature. You see, certain things are in human nature and certain things are against human nature. I think you need to be worried when what you do is against human nature. But when what you do is in sync with human nature, then you run with it, because it is part of the process, the grand design. So if wanting to be heard is part of the grand design, then you're always going to feel this urge to speak out. You're always going to sit there, and the only thing stopping you from speaking out will be your fear. This fun feeling inside of you that, hey, nobody wants to hear me, or what if I say something and somebody calls me a fool, or what if I say something and I turn out to be wrong? There is nothing wrong with being wrong. Every single thing I believe is subject to the truth. I want to repeat that for you because it's very important. Every single thing that I believe is subject to the truth. In other words, if what I believe is the truth, then hallelujah. But the minute you can show me that what I believe is not the truth, and you can prove to me that something else is the truth, I drop that belief immediately. It is a useless belief to me after that, because it is not longer the truth. So the point is, my beliefs, no matter what they are, no matter how strongly I think I believe them, they're subject to these roads. They're subject to the truth. Okay? So my beliefs are subject to the truth. And so should yours be. Some of us have such powerful beliefs, nobody can say nothing against them. I believe in this political party, and that is that. Or I believe in this church, and that is that. I believe in this pastor, and that is that. I believe in this doctrine, and that is that. I believe in this theory, and that is that. Sorry, that could never be that, because if that was that, we would still be living in the Stone Age, believing that the world was flat, believing that we were not the superior race, because every time we stepped out of our caves, we got eaten by a centipede. We got eaten by a centipede. Not even one of the big animals. A big old centipede will come and eat us. You know what I'm saying? Not available. Yeah, the big old centipede will come and eat us. So I'm sorry, that was a phone call coming in and I didn't take it right now, so I'll try to get the phone call another time. We seem to be having one of those days. So that said, I'm going to take a break right now because it looks like this person really wants to meet me. So we're going to continue this conversation at another time. Thank you so much for listening. This is John. A little later.